Vavam Beis. Just at the very bottom, going up to Mem Zayin. I always say, it's interesting. I'm what Alan brought up. At one time, nobody ever questioned, is there a God? The 50s, 60s, whoever questioned it. If you were a civilized human being, of course there's a God. Whoever questioned that. Today, the most sophisticated people, you ask them, is there a God? Probably yes, but I'm not really sure. It depends. Sometimes yes, sometimes not. It was unheard of at one time. It's like the open, the open mind. We'll consider anything. There was a case, either a Reform rabbi, I think it was a Reform or a Conservative rabbi. He asked the congregation, how many of you people believe in God? So they raised the hand, 3/4 raised the hand that they don't. They don't believe in God. So he says, you don't have to feel bad. I have my times also I question whether there's a God. Understand? It's the blind leading the blind. Whatever it is, it's what makes you feel good. It's what it is. Therefore what?
Therefore you would expect most people to be confused about it.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's like we've made, the past 25 years, the world civilization has fallen what they haven't fallen in hundreds of years. In terms of, everything is accelerated. Yeah, because we're holding at the end of time. Omar Rova. Okay? There was a person once attended the class here. He was a South African. And somebody brought him. He was a South African. And very wealthy guy. He was still single. He was a man in his early 40s. Phenomenal, from the wealthiest families in South Africa. And we were studying Avodah Zarah there. And we were studying this case where if you had a brick and you put it vertically and you worship the brick. And we discussed it for 45 minutes. When he left, he told the person, he says, amazed. How could you talk for 45 minutes about a brick? What's its status in terms of idolatry? Is it affected, not affected? He was like amazed. Couldn't get over it. You invest 45 minutes in such a discussion. What's its value? You understand? Okay? Omar Rava. He was like, no, he didn't see it in negative. Like it was like an enigma to him. That's what it was. Omar Rava. Lo shano el de Omar lo bezu, bezu, bezu. The whole discussion we've had until now, whether the person gives a woman a number of dates. Says, I'm marrying you with this, and with this, and with that. And as he speaks, he didn't say initially, I'm going to marry with all 3 dates. And then he starts doling the dates out there. Until now, he didn't tell her what. He says, I want to marry. She says, yes, okay. Then he starts saying, with this, and with that. And then as things go, she eats one after another. Gives her 1, she eats it. Consumes it, 2nd, and then she consumes the 3rd. He says, in that case, we say that the previous date she had eaten, if you need them to contribute to the Shaveh Pruta, she's Einem Kodeshes. Because it's milveh. Because the date she had eaten, of course, the man, when he gave it to her, he didn't say, I'm giving them all to you for kiddushin. It's only for kiddushin after I've given you all 3. So when she ate the first 2, it wasn't given yet for kiddushin. It's my item. It's my item. And when you have all 3, now they're all given to you for kiddushin. So if she eats the first 2 before he gives her the 3rd, so now he says, now I want to marry you with the first 2 I gave you. What is it? You owe me for the first 2. Right? That's milveh. Because when he originally gave it to her, he didn't give it for kiddushin. It only becomes for kiddushin only after he's given it to her. I'll give you an example. A woman is a custodian, a shomer. Custodian. And he says she has $1,000 of his. And then he says, Harei Mukadeshesli, with the $1,000 that you have in mine. Right? She's Mukadeshes. The money's his money. Right? He gave her, right? The money she's in possession of is his money. She's only a shomer. She's a custodian. Harei Mukadeshesli, and there are 2 witnesses with the $1,000 that you have of mine. She's Mukadeshes. Right? It's a Pikadon. Whose money is it? What's the halacha? What's the halacha? A person's a custodian, and he goes and he takes the item that he's supposed to watch, which belongs to the man who gave it to him, and he spends it. What is he? He's a thief. Why is he a thief? Because it's not his. It belongs to the one who had given it. He's there for safekeeping, right? He's a thief. Wait. Forget about the objective, subjective. It's irrelevant what subject. Factually, the item that she possesses is the man's item. So when he says, "I'm giving you," why is Milva not Mekudeshes? Because he didn't give her anything. He relieved her of a debt. But did he give her money? He didn't give her money. Exactly. He relieved her of a debt. Over here, if she's a Shomer Pikodin, the item she has is his item. He says, "Arei Mekudeshesly with the Pikodin that I gave you." So he's giving her something. He's giving her a reality of money, a value. So she's Mekudeshes. One second. So therefore, if he says, "I'm going to marry you with 3 dates," with these 3 dates, and he gives it to her, that means I'm giving you my date for kiddushin and my date for kiddushin. But let's say he didn't say that. He says, "I want to marry you with dates." She has no idea what he's going to give her. And he says, 1, and as he gives it 1, she eats it. He did not give it to her for kiddushin. It's only when she has all 3 in her possession, he says, "Now you can take it for kiddushin." So if she ate it prior to the 3rd date, she ate his item. So now when he says, "Arei Mekudeshesly," what is he Mekadosh? With the date that she owes him, that she consumed. So that's Mekadosh B'milveh. So if the 3rd date is not a Shavuot Pruta, and you need the first 2 dates to contribute to the value of a Pruta, she's Ein Mekudeshes, because he didn't give her anything. Because what you need to create the Pruta no longer exists, right? That's until now. So that's what Rabbi says. Until now, this whole discussion speaking, where he said, "I will marry you," then he starts doling out the dates. Bezu. Avod Oma Be'elu, let's say initially he says, "I will be Mekadosh with these 3 dates." And again, she consumes them. No, he already stated his case. It's not dependent on her mind. It depends what his intent is. What his intent is. I'm marrying you with these 3 dates. That means even the first date I'm giving to you initially is for Kedushin. No, her actions. No, one second. No, that's simple. Even if he didn't say with these. So now the 3 that she has in her hand, it's his dates, right, 100%. Not this. No, not some action. Kedushin is understood. She has to take possession. When you marry a woman, the terms kikach ishishu, you have to give her something of value, minimally a shavet pruta. So of course she has to take it. If she doesn't take it, she's not married.
But if he says, "I'm marrying you with these 3," gives her 1, she eats it, gives her 1, she eats it, it's fine.
She's married. Why? Why is she married?
He already combined them.
No, because he not only not it's much more than he combined them. Because he says my intent is my first. When you take the first date, it's be given for kedushin. I'm giving it for kedushin. See the case where he doesn't say with these 3, he gives a 1. When am I giving it for kedushin? When you have all 3. Until you have all 3, it's not given for kedushin. No, this is good with this. That's what we're saying. That's what we're revealing. That's what we're saying. That's the intent. We had an argument before. Is it chosros? Most chosrim and not chosrim. Remember we had the argument with Rav and Shmuel before. We had the discussion. We said Rabami. That Rabami says when she eats 1, 2, and 3, she ate first. It's only because most are chosrim. Meaning the husband, his intent is that it should not be most kedushin until she has all 3 in her hand. So that's when he gave it first one wasn't for kedushin yet. It's only once you have all 3, now you can take all 3 for kedushin. So if she ate it prior to she had all 3, it's like she ate the pekodin. So if she ate the pekodin, what is it? It's a milveh. So now he says, now I'll marry with all 3 I gave you. But the first 2 don't exist. So when he's marrying with the first 2, what is he marrying you? With the debt. I'm relieving you of the debt of the value of the first 2. And Mekudeshes, that's a Mekadosh B'milveh. Right? That's a Mekadosh B'milveh. It's Ein Mekudeshes. You follow what I'm saying?
I'm following, but I'm not getting the Shem Fruta for the first 2, does it come into play or not? Because the last one is the Shem Fruta.
No, again. We're talking about the last one is not a Shavuot Pruta. And you need the first 2 to combine to create the Shavuot Pruta.
And you said I'm marrying you with this 3 and she ate the first 2 and the 3rd one is not a Shem Fruta.
You combine all 3. That's what Rav is saying. He says Elu.
Even though they're already consumed.
Doesn't make a difference. Let's get back to Tosa's question. Because, Ken, because Rabbi Kivega asked a question, Tosa asked a question. It says that if you give her at each date, which is Pachs B'Shavet Pruta, and she eats it, and when you finally come to the last one, and you need the first two to combine, she's Eina Mukadesh. She's not married. Why? Because it's milveh. So Tosa has a question. The Gemara says later in the Perek that if you give a woman a certain amount of money and say, I'm giving you the money now for kiddushin, but the effect of the kiddushin should be in 30 days from now. She's mukudeshes. So you see that although the kiddushin didn't take place yet, she's mukudeshes. Wait. About Tosa's question.
Even if she spent that money.
And then 30 days comes, the money doesn't exist any longer. He gave her $100. Okay? 30 days later, when the marriage is supposed to take effect, that $100 doesn't exist any longer. She spent it. Okay? Mukadeshes. She's married. So Tosa's asked, so why over here when he gave her 1, 2, 3, and she ate them as she was giving, why she Mukadeshes? Why is it that case different than our case? So Tosa's differentiates. He says when he gave her the amount of money, it was a Maisa Kedushin. He didn't act. Now it's just a question, when will it take effect? Take effect in 30 days from now. It's not a problem. It's not Milveh gave her money for Kedushin, so the act of Kedushin is now to be effective in 30 days. It's irrelevant whether the money exists or doesn't exist. Okay? That's Tosa's answer. So Reb Kivega asks, what was Tosa's question? It's an explicit Gemara. That's Rab's words. If he says be'elu, Harei Mukdesh is be'elu. So he quantified already all the 3 dates. We say even if she eats them, she's Mukdeshes. Although when he came to the third date, the first 2 don't exist any longer. She's married. That's exactly the Gemara. To be effective. She's, but it's a Kolsh game. But it's a Kolsh game. It's a Kolsh game. Because here, the complete Ma'aser Kedushin was done at one time. He gave her the full money at one time to be effective in 30 days. He's saying that even if, he says with this, and he gives her he parcels it out, and she eats it, and when the third one is given, the first 2 don't exist, she's married. Because every aspect of what he gave her was given for Kedushin.
Yeah, but she was never in possession of Sheva Prut at once.
No, exactly. But it's a Kolsh game. When he gives her a full amount of money, where it's a Sheva Pruta, right? Is there a question? Even if you dole it out, when we give her less than a Sheva Pruta, they accumulate to be the Sheva Pruta. So you can ask me when you give it a full amount, why should she not be Mukudeshes? That's the Gemara. That's Rav's differentiation. Here, the money wasn't most Kedushin until he gave it a third. It wasn't even an act of Kedushin. Therefore, she eats it prior. What is it? It's milveh. That's why it's a milveh. Right. But he says, Elu, when he gave her the first, although it was less than a pruta, it was given for Kedushin. Therefore, they accumulate to create, I gave you 3 items for Kedushin, which in combination creates the Sheva Pruta. Therefore, she's Mukadeshes.
So when he said that Elu, but he hasn't given her anything.
But he's already revealed his intent. He's revealed his intent. The first fruit I'm giving to you is to contribute towards the Kedushin. If he didn't say Elu, the first one, he didn't reveal his intent. So we say, until I give you the third one, that's when the first 1 and 2 become most Kedushin. When you have all 3, that's when it becomes most Kedushin. So if that's the case, if she eats it prior, he didn't give her, the first act wasn't giving him, it wasn't a Ma'aser Kedushin.
What if that first day was what? And his intention was the zoo, and the zoo, is she considered married?
No, according to Rav Ami, she's not married. She's not married. Because it's milveh. According to Rav Ami, it's milveh. Rav Ami, that's the way he interprets the intent of the person. Because that's the Gemara says, Shmamina for Mami, most chosrim. Most chosrim. Right? That we had an argument. After everything's said and done, does he have to return the money if it turns out not to be Kedushin or not? If a person, we say, the mindset is, he's generous, so even though it's not clear at the end what's going to happen, he's happy to give it to her. So he's giving for Kedushin, he's already releasing it. Most Bikodim means, the man says, until I know I've gained, I don't release it. There's no release. So when do I release it? When I know I have the full, I have you in my clutches. When do I have you in my clutches? When I give you that third date, because that's when it's a Ma'aser Kedushin. If she eats it, it's a milveh. Because until he gives it the third one, it's pikadon. No, it's a pikadon. Until he gives her the third one, it's a pikodin. You know, there's an expression. Some people they give away ice in the winter. You know, there's some people like that. The question is when we evaluate a person's personality, if the average person is very generous, generously gives. So therefore, it's not, I don't release it until I know I have it. So even if you hold it's matana, so if the man is willing to give it as a matana, so even when he gives the first pruta to contribute to the third, even if the third, he never gives the third, he's okay, he's agreeable to release it immediately. So therefore, even though he doesn't know, he hasn't given the third yet, he's already given it for kiddushin. He's already giving it for kiddushin. You understand? So it's no different than giving the full amount of money immediately. The first act already is an act of kiddushin, although it's not sufficient, because you need the other 2 dates in combination to create the pruta. It's irrelevant what, look, it's irrelevant what she thinks, it's what his intent is. That if he says be'elu, he already revealed his intent. Then she's married, finished. That means even the first date he gave her, that was towards the Ma'aseh Kedushin.
What if he doesn't give the remaining 2 and she gave 11 shofar?
So according to, definitely she's not married. Let's say after everything, he never gave her a pruta. So according to Rabami, she has to give him back the money. According to Rabami, she has to give him back the money. According to the others, right? Rav says it's what? I mean, Shmuel says it's matana. She gives him.
With this, we consider that already the stage of marriage. She gives the first one, and then he repents and gives the second. So she's not married.
She's not. Of course, she's not married. Everybody agrees she's not married. Question: does she have to return the money to him?
Right, but if she's not married, how come when she eats that he gives the second?
No. Let me ask a question. The case with the Gemara later in kiddushin, he gives her $100. Harei Mekdeshesli, each take effect in 30 days from now. Wait, no, that's it. Let's say she dies. She never lives to the 30th day. So it never happened. So, was the act originally an act of kiddushin? It was an act of kiddushin. But it has to take effect. It never took effect. Because you can't take effect if there's no woman to be alive, to be married in 30 days.
So other than the fact that the woman either has to give the money back or not, really, whether it's a matana or a milva, really has no bearing on whether she's married or not. And it has nothing to do with
No, either way she's dead. But what happens if he does give the full amount eventually? He actually plays it out. To the third, now you have a Shavah Pruta in combination. If you hold most matana, she's married.
if she ate the first two.
Even if she ate the first 2, she's married. And the third is not a Shavah Pruta.
The third,
Is not a Shavah Pruta, she's married. The first 2 are not milva. We combined, why? Because when if it's matana, it means the mindset is, I'm giving it towards Kedushin. If it's most kosher, the man says, I don't release it until I know I have what I want. So therefore, when you ate it, whose date did you eat? You ate my date. So now when I finally say, oh, now I gave you the third one, now I'm married with all 3. It's too late. Because when she ate it, what was it? She ate you a pikodin. So what, now you want to marry her with what she owes you. That's as Makadosh Memilva, Eda B'Kodeshes. No, because she believed that since it was going to play out with the third one, he'd be okay with it. But it's irrelevant what she believes. It's irrelevant what she believes. But factually, it's a milva.
You have a transaction, both sides don't have to see the same transaction or another transaction. How can you see it as a picard and she sees it as something else?
She sees it, it's okay. Even if it's a picodin, since it's, we say, whatever ends well is well, finished. That's the attitude of people. It's irrelevant. It's what his intent is. What his intent is. So if he says be'elu, he's already established, regardless what normally a person thinks, he says, every date I'm giving to you is an act of kiddushin. Contributes to the act of kiddushin. No, which means even though she thinks it's something more than it is, if his intent is not that, she's not married. No, we don't know what he thinks. No, we know. When he says bezub is, no. But the question is, when is the act of marriage considered an act of marriage? Is it when she gets the third, or even when she doled out the first 2? Ultimately, he wants to marry her, and she wants to marry him. Now we're talking about the process, the technicalities of how it's going to come about. right? If initially he says, I marry you be'elu, and now it's just a question of transferring it, not everybody agrees, mukudeshes. But when he says, bezu, 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 where the intent is, when you receive the third, then all three are in active marriage, only then, prior to that moment, it was not classified as a ma'aseh kiddushin, so if she ate it. So now that you want to use those first dates to contribute, what are you contributing? You're contributing a milveh. Begadish milveh any mukudeshes. She's not mekudeshes. Not mekudeshes. Correct. Correct. That's why Ravami says it's pruta. It's a tamar achrona. When the Mishnah says shavet pruta means the last date has to be shavet pruta. If the first two dates are shavet pruta, it's irrelevant because that's mekadosh milveh. Those are Ravami's words on Mem Vav and Aleph. Right. That's the way he interprets the Mishnah. Okay. Lo shara elu de omalo bezu 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 avod omalo be'elu. If he says, I'm marrying you with these dates, I feel, oh, cheles, nami b'kudeshes. Why? Ki ko'ochla midinavshe ko'ochla. Because when she ate the date, whose date was it? It wasn't a bikodim. It was given to her for kedusha. It's hers. It was given to her. So she has a right to eat it. Tanya kavosi de Ravo. We have a braysos which supports Rava's. That's the machlokes. Is it matonim or was it pikodin? If it's matona, he doesn't have to give it back. We hold like Shmuel. It's matona. Right. Correct.
So even though she ate two and the third one.
Right. Correct. Tanya Kamasid Rava. We have a bright supporting Rava's differentiation. Hiskachli balon berimon ubeegos. Okay, that's what he says. I'm marrying you with alon. I know alon is what a quince. How does he interpret alon? Acorn. Okay. Acorn. Balon berimon ubeegos. I'm marrying you with this ABC, 3 different types of fruits. Osha amalo hiskachli beelu. Or he says, I'm marrying you with these. So again, he's already stating his intention up front with these. Meaning you combine them all. If they all in combination are shavet pruta, she's married. But if all 3 in conjunction are not a shavet pruta, she's not married. We'll see in a moment what the case is. What about if he says bezu, bezu, bezu? If all 3 are a shavet pruta, she's married. So far we haven't spoken about where she ate them as she's receiving them. Okay? Bezu, he says.
Meaning that each one of them is not shavet pruta?
No. Combined. Bezu not losa. He says, I'm married with this, and she takes it, she eats it. Bezu not losa. And she takes the second one and eats it. V'od bezu. Ein mukudeshes. She's not married. Achie by achas mein shavet pruta. Then one of them has to be a shavet pruta. One of them. If we're not combining them, which one has to be a shavet pruta? Evidently, clearly, it must be the last, right? Because if it's the first, no, because then it's mekadosh milveh. Then it's mekadosh milveh. If she ate them. So when it says Achie ba'achas mein shavet pruta means the last one. We'll see in a moment. The Gemara is going to analyze the price in a moment. So we have the way it's if you say I'm marrying you with the acorn, the pomegranate, and the nut, right? And then he says hiskachli be'elu with these mukudeshes. That's right. Then it speaks about the case bezu whether she eats it or doesn't eat it. So it says ba'alon berim be'egos hechidomi. What exactly is the case? Ilema de amala o ba'alon o berimon o be'egos. I'm marrying with either with 3 separate acts of kiddushin. I'm marrying you with the alon, or with the pomegranate, or with the nut. It says if they all in combination or shavet pruta kedushes. Someone says, how could that be? But if each one is a distinct act of kiddushin, by okamar, so it can't be. She's not mekudeshes. Because each one is a separate act of kiddushin. So how do you say if all three in conjunction are a shavuot, she's married? But factually, but each one was a distinct act of kiddushin, and none of them was a shavuot. How could she be married? She's edible kodeshes. No. Ba'alon. We wonder what's the case of Ba'alon, Berimon, Be'egos. No. That's the next case. Well, the Gemara is going to explain it can't be that. It can't be. The Gemara is coming to explain, if when he said the three different types of fruits, he meant each one independent of the other. Right? So it says, so you can't, then clearly you can't combine them. Right? So that's the Gemara's question. If that was his intent, how could they be combined? That's what the Gemara says. Elo, so what does it mean when he said the three fruits? Not each one being an independent act of kiddushin, but rather in combination. Right? Ela balo berima begos. That's how he's marrying her. All three together. Someone asked a question. Haini b'zu b'zu b'zu. So it's totally superfluous. The mission, it's superfluous. If the case is he wants them all combined, you have to give me examples of three different types of fruits. You're already saying b'zu b'zu b'zu. Let it be coins. Let it be whatever it is. Let it be kernels of wheat. We got to speak about three different fruits. So what's the case of the fruits versus b'zu b'zu b'zu? That's the so what is the mission talking? What's the Brisa speaking about? That's the question. Elav, what must be the case of the three different types of fruits? Domala be'elu. He said be'elu. So when he says be'elu, I'm marrying you with the pomegranate, the nut, and the acorn. I'm going to marry you with all. Initially, he says I'm married with these three fruits, and now as he gives it to her, she eats it. So it says she's mukudeshes. We say as long as all three combined are worth a pruti, she's mukudeshes. But it's a makadosh b'milveh. It's a makadosh b'milveh. No, it doesn't say explicitly. We're proving it's be'elu. Otherwise, it doesn't work. If it's a distinct act, each one is separate, and none of them are shava pruta, how do you combine them? So the answer is they're not distinct. So if they're not distinct, so what's b'zu, b'zu, b'zu? It's again, it's superfluous. The answer is because the case of the three fruits, he said, initially I'm married with all three. And then he begins doling it out to her. Although he ate them, she ate each one as she received it. As long as all three now combined are Sheva Prut, she's Mukadeshes. Why? The answer is because he said Be'elu. Be'elu means, as I gave it to you, and that was part of the Ma'aseh Kedushin. That's the reason why she's married. Wow. That supports Rava. Rava is an Amora. We're supporting it with a Brisa. We have a Brisa which supports your position. That there's a difference whether you say Be'elu or you don't say Be'elu. That everything is a Ma'aseh Kedushin. 8, from 1 through 3, because it was given to her as an act of Kedushin.
And the third one is there, and combined
Now, because he said Elu, even though when the third we want to combine it with the first two. The first two don't exist any longer. She's married.
So how does this support that?
Because we wonder what is the case. The three types of fruits. That's the question, right? It says, if all three in combination are Shava Pruti, she's married. What is the case speaking about? If each one he says, I'm marrying with A, one act, B, C, each one is distinct of the other. So how could the mission, the Brisa conclude? If all three in combination are Sheva Pruta, they're separate acts. So evidently, he said, Be'elu. Right? He said, because it can't be Bezu, 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 because that's the next case. So what's Ba'alon and all that? One second, Samar says, Ela Ba'alon B'rimon Ve'egos, Hainu Bezu, Bezu, Bezu. That's the case, Bezu, Ela Lav Di Omer Lo Be'elu. So therefore we're able to combine it. And it's not a milvah. Samar asks a question, I'm Tani Seifo. But the conclusion of Brisa says, O She'omala Hiskachli Be'elu. The Brisa, it says, or he said, marry me with these. So evidently, if the conclusion of Brisa is, or he said Be'elu. So what's the inference of that? That means until now we haven't been speaking Be'elu. So now we're back to square one. The case of Ba'al, the three types of fruits. If he didn't say Be'elu, then what is it? How could she marry? Each one's a separate act. So what did he say? In conjunction. But in conjunction, that's b'zu, b'zu, b'zu. So the more answers, Be'elu is coming to elucidate the case. Ferushe kameforish. When it says, in the conclusion, he said Be'elu, that's coming to elucidate the opening statement. The case of the three fruits, before he had given the fruits, he said, I will marry you with these three fruits. Okay? Hiskachli ba'alo berimo be'egos. Ketzad. Gonchobel hiskachli be'elu. What is the case of when he's marrying with three fruits, where he said, I'm marrying with these three fruits? And then he began doling it out there. Uktani seifo. And what does it say? Bezu not loso v'chloso. He took the first fruit, she took it and ate it. Im yesh bachs mishove prutim kudeshes. Vim lav enim kudeshes. Then it concludes. It says, if one of them is a shove prut, she's mukudeshes. Otherwise, she's not mukudeshes. Right? So according to this, we can't be speaking about Elu. It says, if one of them is a shove prut, she's mukudeshes. If not, she's not mukudeshes.
Even the one that she ate.
The ilu reisha lokomaftik bein ocheles lemenachas. Right? The opening statement we didn't say. We say if in conjunction they're worth a shava pruta, the three fruits, she's mukudeshes. And then it concludes, if you gave it and she ate them, as long as any one of them is a shava pruta, she's mukudeshes. So we see we don't combine it. So evidently the first case is a different case than the closing case. Correct? First case it says be'elu, all three in combination. So therefore, even if each one's less than a pruta, I combine all three together, mukadeshes. Then it says, if she eats it as she goes along, that's the concluding case. We say, as long as one of them is a shava pruta, she's married. What do you mean one? That means I'm not combining them. I'm not combining them, correct? So that means, he didn't say be'elu. So that case is not be'elu. So now which one? Is it the first two? The first two, the Gemara said, that's Makadosh b'milva. The be'elu means the last one. Excuse me, one of the means the last one. Because he didn't give it as an act of marriage. That's Rabami before. Right? That's the way Rabami learned the Mishnah. When he says, if one's a Shav Pruta, it means the last one. Remember, that's Rabami. The last one has to be a Shav Pruta. Okay, just let's get Vilu Reishlo Kamaflik Beino Chelis Menachas. The first case with the alone, all that, it doesn't make a difference whether she eats it or she leaves it. If he says, I'm married with these and she eats, whose fruit is she eating? She's eating her own fruit because it already was given to her as an act of kiddushin. So conclusively, we prove from here Rav's position that if he say Elu in advance, as he gives it to her, she's eating her own fruit. Because it's already given to her as an act of Kedushin. But if he says, bezu, 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 where he didn't reveal his intent, what he's giving her, to what degree, then if she should eat it before, unless the last date, or the last items of Yeshava Pruta, she's Enimu Kodeshes.
Even if he says bezu, 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 before he gives her any of them, he says, it's three basically,
He didn't say Elu. He didn't say Elu.
then it's the same as Elu, what?
No. She could see whatever she wants to see in her before. It's irrelevant. He has to say with these. Somebody takes out, you ever go to the Koso, right? I don't know, often visit. You take out a wad of bills, and you want to give him $1. He wants the rest of the bills. It's around what he wants. The question is, what do you intend to give? Just because he has the 3 dates in his hands, unless he says be'elu, it means nothing. You'll get what I agree to give you. If he says be'elu, she understands. So he's already revealed what his intent is to give all 3. But if he says bezu, it's around what she thinks, well, the other 2 are also coming. No.
When he says bezu, he has to give it that.
He gives it to her. Bezu.
If he waits, if he says bezu, 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 because
No, if he says, I will marry you, bezu, bezu, bezu in his hand, that's be'elu. That's be'elu. It's the same thing.
Structurally, Gemara is going to learn the case of the 3 fruits and the case of the Mishnah. We're trying to elucidate what the case of the Zuba is. So we're learning from the case of the 3 fruits in order to elucidate what happened in the case of the Zuba.
We'll get back to this tomorrow.